Hey guys, Sheriff5 here with part 2 of our little fields trip. If you haven't seen part 1, you should probably go see it now. We talk about homelessness for a little bit. I know that's going to be sort of a little odd to talk about, and I also give you a little updates in the other video as well as to what I'm doing and why I haven't been uploading any new content as for everything wrong with and honest parodies go. Speaking of which, I want to thank you guys. We're almost at freaking 4,000 subscribers, and I know that a lot of people are subscribing because of my parodies, not so much because of my original content. And, well, it does sort of suck that you guys aren't really giving my other content sort of a chance, but I have been getting an increase in views on my more original stuff, I think because of these new subscribers who are actually giving it a chance. So you all know who you are, thank you so much, and you're probably giving my videos a chance if you're watching this video right now. Anyway, as the title of the video says, and like I said at the end of the last part, we're going to be talking about something that really impacted my life this year, and it really sucks. It's a disease that I guess a lot of people know it as the popular disease right now. Not because a lot of people want to have it, but because a lot of people suffer from it. And it's had such an increase in people it affects in the last few years. It's just incredible. And I say that it affects me, or that it's affected me this year, not because I have it, at least I don't think I do, but because it's taken two of the people in my family this year. And it's funny because those people in my family technically weren't even related. I'll give you a little story as to what happened this year. If you can recall from the last video, I said that so many things have happened this year, and it's been like a roller coaster ride, and I'll explain why in the next video, but as for now, let me just tell you a little bit about what happened in regards to this disease this year. My family and I, my sister, my parents, and I live in my grandmother's house, and we have lived here ever since we moved from the States. My parents do have their own place here. They have their own house. It's actually quite far from here. It's not exactly in walking distance, but, you can get there walking, but you take probably like an hour to get there. But the reason we live here, even though we had a house somewhere else for the longest time, is because the reason we moved here was because my parents wanted to take care of their parents. And so we moved here to my mother's parents' house. My parents rebuilt the house. Actually, this room didn't even exist. It was a one-story house. It was a very long house, not too tall though, and that really doesn't matter. But the point is, we rebuilt it, yada yada. Well, my parents did. I didn't. And well, now our house is technically just entirely new. It's on the same territory, but it's just entirely new. And we moved here back in 2005, and 3 years later, my grandfather would pass away. I was about 12 at the time. Actually, it was on October 7th, 2008, and that's going to come into play a little later, in the next video as well, probably. But anyway, so he passed away, so it was just my grandmother, my mother, my father, my sister, and I in this house. And, well, the relationship with my mother and my grandmother was sort of at times. Like, they would fight occasionally, and then they would be, like, best friends, again, occasionally. And for some strange reason, at the beginning of this year, my grandmother all of a sudden stopped eating. She stopped having an appetite. She started to get noticeably worse, and she was a person that after my grandfather passed away, she would get out more. She would go out with the neighbors because, well, the neighbors around here have known each other for years. So she has a lot of friends. She had a lot of friends that were our neighbors, and she would go out on occasion. And back in January of this year, well, it was, she started getting different. She was always here and there watering her plants and yelling at our cats. And in January, she kind of just stopped doing that altogether. She stopped walking. She stopped having strength. Like I said, she lost her appetite. And it was horrible for so many reasons because, well, one day she actually fell ill and, they had to rush her to the hospital. because well we were getting worried as like why has she all of a sudden lost her appetite? Why is she behaving like this? And that was at the end of January, and in February my mother told me that she had gallbladder stones, which she needed to get removed, which she did. And not only that, but they had told her and my uncles, who were there in the hospital as well, that she had 4-year cancer, that even my grandmother didn't know she had because she didn't attend her doctor regularly, so she didn't even know, and well, of course none of us knew until then. And well, of course we were all worried, and my grandmother left considerably well. Like she was able to sort of walk on her own. Like I said, she didn't have an appetite at all. And she comes back home in March of this year, and she is completely yellow, and she looks weak. She looks very out of it, and of course I freak out. And, a week after my birthday, on March 31st, my grandmother would pass away, and it was just such a fiasco, and it was so horrible that to this day it's still incredible. And my sister and I, my family, we all just agree that it's incredible that my grandmother is gone, uh, because like she had so much life in her, and all of a sudden it was just gone, and none of us had even known when or how it had happened. It was pancreatic cancer actually, and we just feel like she's gone on a trip and that she hasn't come back yet. I mean, it's just so incredible, and I miss her so much. We never really had that huge of a relationship like she did with my other cousins, but but I knew that she loved me and I love her equally. It's just so weird coming home and not seeing her sit where she usually sat, and it's just so odd. And actually, a few months ago, I lost an aunt to cancer as well. We had known that she had cancer for a while. She lived in the States. I didn't really have much of a good relationship with her. I had a better relationship with her children, who were my cousins, because they were the only friends I had when I was a kid. And even then, they were considerably older than me, so there wasn't much of a friendship. And she was actually kind of mean to me as a kid, so I hold no remorse against her at all. I never did. And like a few months ago, we had heard over the internet that my uncle had to rush her to the hospital, and that apparently the cancer had gone to her head. And a few weeks ago, I believe about a month ago, actually, my aunt passed away, and that was just incredible for me to hear, because she was actually considerably young. And again, it's another case that's just so incredible that she's gone, because just a few years ago, like a year or two ago, she had a child. She left technically 2 children. I mean, she had 4 kids, and 2 of my cousins are already adults, and one is in middle school right now, and well, the other is an infant child. And like I said, it's just incredible to think or to imagine that they're not with us anymore. And I was telling my buddy Dylan the other day, Branrich Valsner, shout outs to him, because he also lost his grandfather to cancer, and it's going to probably sound horrible, but I'm really thankful that I was able to be there with him when it happened. Not physically, but I was there to support him about like 2 years ago, I believe. And I know how much he loved his grandfather, and I know how much his grandfather loved him, and like every time he mentions his grandfather, it's something that, I guess it just really gets to him, and I know it does. I know how much it hurts to talk about this sort of situation. And I was telling him the other day that I was feeling kind of depressed the other day, and I was just telling him how much I hated cancer and how much it sucks, and how like someday, probably not soon, but someday definitely, I want to help out organizations economically, so that they can treat people with cancer, kids with cancer, or like any other disease. Charitable organizations such as Child's Play, which is very common amongst gamer channels, and people make live streams to donate to those charities. I want to help out, like not just help out economically, because I want to do something to raise that money as well. I want to help out. And again, this is sort of an invitation to you guys to, if you see the opportunity to help someone out, do it. If you're able to donate to these charities, do so. Don't like, of course, within your means. Like, if you don't have the money to donate to charity, well, then don't do it. Like, I'm not going to ask you to do something that's not within your means. If you have the money, I ask you to donate to these charities or help out as much as you can with the research and treatment of these horrible diseases that people have to suffer through each day. And it's just, cancer sucks. Cancer really sucks. And, jeez, I really don't know what else to say. I mean, that's sort of my story, and I kind of want to get that off my chest as well, because it's been something that, even though it's been going on since January of this year, I know I didn't really find out until February, and it finally took, leeway in March. Even though this is October, it's still something that affects me, and it's still something that I hate with a burning passion, and it's something that really annoys me. And it frustrates me. And if, shout outs to anyone else who is someone fighting cancer or lost someone to cancer. I know how you feel, and I know that it sucks. So, like, AGDQ is another team that they raise money for, all these cancer fighting organizations and stuff like that, and I just think that what they do is awesome. So please, if you can help them out, do so. This is my invitation to you, and please, I normally don't do this, but I think you should share this video with people so that they can know that, I'm inviting them to help other people. It's like, I want to help other people as well. I think that's my mission here on Earth, practically, to make you guys laugh, to help people, and I don't know, just to make the world a happy place. But, anyway, I guess that's it for part 2 of our fields trip, and I'll see you for part 3. And as for part 3, I'm just going to tell you to please take care. Until we see each other again, if you decide to. Thanks for watching so much, and I may or may not see you for part 3 of our fields trip. This is Chara5, signing off.